everybody. So I was scrolling through one of my social media feeds today, and I saw that Ramsey Clark had passed. Now I know that that's going to be a name that I would suspect most of you would not be familiar with. And he was actually a guy that I became familiar with now. Uh, it's got to be 19 years ago, closer to 20, depending, probably around 19. And believe it or not, we give credit where credit is due here. And I saw Ramsey Clark for the first time in a documentary called 9/11: The Road to Tyranny by Alex Jones. And underneath, I noticed that this guy was a former Attorney General. Let me repeat that. Attorney General of the United States. And this is gonna be a video kind of showing you how funny life is and how it really works, and how if you put time into things and you try to do the right thing, certain opportunities come about. But it's also going to be about a stark reminder that people like Ramsey Clark, who did get to the upper echelons of government and did fight tyranny and did speak out against war crimes, okay, and did speak up for the people. Those people are a dying breed, if there's really any left. There are so many people out there that really are just so far gone. So when I see this clip, again, in 9/11: The Road to Tyranny, he actually specifically uses the term New World Order that these people are trying to build. I was like, whoa. Now, previously to that, guys, I really had gravitated away from any kind of a notion that such a term was anything more than, you guessed it, a conspiracy theory, or really, in reality, an extension of what I believed then was kind of like this cartoonish fear-mongering by the church. And I to people about the chip and the mark of the beast and the New World Order as a kid. And as I progressed, by the time I was like 10 to 12, I'd had enough heavy things happen in my life that I went away from religion. And obviously, because those things were really not talked about anywhere outside of the church, thought they were the conspiracy theories that the media had portrayed, right? So while I'm watching this 9/11: The Road to Tyranny, and I've already done some research, obviously, on 9/11, that's extremely worrisome to me, I see Ramsey Clark. And, Clark ends up being one of these very vocal opponents of the Iraq War later on. One of the very few high-level officials that not only openly spoke out, but, really tried to activate against this war on terror and our civil liberties being crushed at home. Only 13 thumbs up. Can we try to get it to 25? Okay. So Ramsey Clark lived a life and was a man of principle. And so many years later, I came across a documentary filmmaker who also happened to be in Oneonta. And it was really interesting because I didn't know he was around there. And he was having a screening of a rough cut of a film he did about Ramsey. And I mean, this film was absolutely incredible. It shows you what a great guy this guy was on top of what he did in government. He took care of his disabled sister. I would encourage anybody who can to watch that film. In fact, I reached out to Joseph Stillman, who, again, I don't agree with on every political issue, by the way. But that's fine. Again, I'm a free speech guy. I'm an anti-war guy. I'm a truth guy. And not only did he put this screening together where, we got to watch this wonderful movie, but Frank Serpico, if you are not familiar with his story, one of the very first large-scale who told the truth about large-scale corruption in New York City and the NYPD, and then end up having Pacino do a film about him, right? One of his non-gangster roles. So I approached Stillman afterwards, and we started talking, and I ended up getting to do like some small graphics for the film, like the end credits and whatnot. And I think some lower thirds or something like that. So, you know, it was really a pleasure to be able to do that, just to have a small part in a project like that, that I think, you know, should have more behind it. In fact, I think at the end of the day, he ended up getting in the final cut Martin Sheen to do the voiceover of this documentary about Ramsey Clark. So here's what I'm going to tell you. Please, if you can, not only learn more about Ramsey Clark through that film, which is a great idea if you can see it, A Life of Principle. The trailer, I believe, is on YouTube. You can definitely go check it out there. And I think I tweeted out said trailer over on my Twitter at Jason Burmis. But learn about the guy and understand that people like him stood up their entire lives for what they believed in. They did what was right for their family, and they fought hard. And we don't see a lot of that. Talk about a literal dying breed. It's sad like a guy like that goes. I mean, he lived a very long life. And again, the media treated him like a kook, like a demon. You know, like somebody who was uneducated. Or again, you know, it's like if Ramsey Clark were saying the things he was saying, you know, and getting a little bit of press from 20 plus years ago, again, long after he was Attorney General, I'm sure they would have tried to make him into some kind of a white supremacist. That's the new thing, right? You're a white supremacist. What? When are we going to get beyond this, people? And as far as the fear mongering goes, you know, that's where I'm going to bring this full circle, because people don't understand that, and I certainly didn't as a child, that these warnings are real. And quite frankly, when we talk about a transhumanist agenda and we talk about passport to do everything you have to do, we can't warn people enough. We can't warn people enough not to do that. That is not fear-mongering. In fact, can you imagine now, since you live in this Orwellian time of COVID 1984, how the Nazis did what they did? How many were parroting, "Oh, you're just fear-mongering. Oh, don't be silly." Seriously, that's where we are. We're there globally right now. And I saw a video today of Tyson Fury's father, who, if you've never heard the guy talk, you know, he's a character for sure. Just like his son is. You see where his son gets it. But this guy's trying to ask him when this next fight is going to happen, if it's going to happen this summer. And he just, again, this is on my Twitter, can't answer the question because he's so upset with what's going on. And he's warning people, this is it. This is the takeover. This isn't going away. Basically telling the guy, I don't know when they're fighting, dude. Do you not see what's going on in the world? You know, this is this is the real deal. And I want to give a shout out to Sarah Whalen. She sent me like a 10-second video where people are getting on with their lives. Also retweeted that. And in that video, it looks like it's some kind of a rodeo or dirt track out in South Dakota. And it harkens back to the good old days, right? People are the good old days where they're playing Don't Stop Believin'. Shout out to the Sip and Sail back home in Oneonta. That used to be their closing song. I'm sure they don't even bother with that depressing tune anymore since they got to close. I think at 11 still there, and everybody's masked up and having a terrible time. And yeah, well, you get the picture. Anyway, you hear the entire crowd Stop Believing. I don't think I'm gonna be able to play it, copyright issue, but you know, I might show it or scroll through it. And you see a bunch of people, you know, no masks, getting together, having a good time. Good for New York. And apparently I can't really talk about that anymore because you saw what they tried to hit my last video with, where apparently if I don't tell people to self-isolate or social distance, I'm done with YouTube. I mean, that's nutty. That's nutty McBear. Can you imagine? Poor Ramsey Clark. I don't know how, you know, he was a very, very old man, but he kept his mind sharp. You know, how aware he was if he died I believe a couple days ago or earlier in the week. How aware he was of how severe this takeover had gotten. You know, I would wonder if there's a last interview out there or a last post or something. I'm certainly going to be looking for it. And it's Ramsey Clark, for those that want to look into the guy. Again, you know, for where he got and what he said and what he stood for and what he tried to do for not only free speech but humanity, that's huge. That's big time, big time. So guys, here's the deal. Check me out over at Rockfin. If you haven't seen the full almost 90-minute interview with the Last American Vagabond, or you haven't seen the hour-plus interview with Nico House, those are free exclusives over at Rockfin, ROKFIN.com/Jason Burmis. If you want to support me, there are links down below, but become a premium subscriber over at Rockfin. I'll be putting up another one of those throwback podcasts out there, too, for premium subscribers this week. Like, they're almost 3 hours long. I think they're like 2 hours and 20 minutes, commercial-free, of some throwbacks from 12 years ago. So you can understand, I've had my skin in the game for a long time. I've been talking about this for a long time. I'm not saying I have all the answers. I am telling you that you're going to have to navigate this with your own life, and you're going to have to pick and choose your battles. But the battles that you should be picking every time are the ones that express your humanity. And again, that's why we're going to have a Mother's Day barbecue right here in Iowa, baby. We're doing it big, and we're asking people to come out. And, you know, we're not trying to make it into any kind of a political statement other than come and live your lives and push back against this, you know, inhumane, insane, transhumanist agenda. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.